All right, we're going to talk about modes, Mike.
I'm in the mode for modes.
This is the Mike mode episode. No, wait a second. Did you see that? There was a guy about to tune off just then. Did you see that? Had his button ready to go. Skip. Don't do it.
Not this guy again.
That's right. Old Skippy McSkipperton. Listen, this will change your life. Now, Mike has agreed to be put in the crucible of modes. And here's what I mean by that. I'm going to show you a way that you can trick your ears into accepting what your hands probably already know. And for those of you who are like, man, I don't even know what y'all are about to do that you're tricking yourself with. Well, you can learn that too. Hope that made sense to somebody out there. Here's the deal. Modes, there's a lot of people out there that are down on that. And listen, I don't typically think in modes. One of my favorite guitar players was just on his Instagram the other day, and he was talking about, man, I never use modes. And I understand that. I really don't think that way.
I don't think that way.
However, there are many times where I find myself playing the same old stuff. Like I'm 48 years old, I've been playing since I was 16, and I feel like I've been playing the same licks since 1997 a lot of times. Everybody feels that way, right? We all have that sense of like, I'm stale when it comes to this kind of thing. Well, guess what? You start to think in modes. You can take some of those familiar licks, maybe some of that what you might refer to as same old, and it's like all of a sudden a fresh perspective. And it sounds like you will literally see it in real time.
Exciting. All right.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I've given Mike very little preparation. I've just more or less told him generalities what we're going to do.
Bring a guitar is what you said.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to kind of work this out in real time, and I think that'll be helpful. Thank you for being vulnerable this way.
I'm kind of excited to do this too. You know, I've been lucky enough to play for a long time as well, but I haven't had any lessons. Don't advise that, but sometimes you just don't. And so I don't know what I play sometimes. I just know I can play it. So this might fill in some serious gaps for my brain too.
Well, I'm happy you're here.
So let's get scary
on
YouTube in front of people.
All right, so what we're going to do is
laugh,
we're going to do 3 modes.
Okay.
On this episode, we're going to do a Mixolydian example, we're going to do a Dorian example, and then we're going to do a Lydian example, okay? So first things first. Most of you guys probably know this. This is going to be F, G, Fleetwood Mac, Dreams. I was playing this other night at a birthday party, and this is one of those songs that if you have some people that can solo, can literally go on for a very long time. Especially since that dude was drinking the cranberry juice, riding his the skateboard on Instagram, and he had the song going on in the background. Comment below if you know what I'm talking about. And anyway, that being said, this is a great example, you know, because if you've got multiple guitar players, you might need a little something where you can kind of bounce in and out of this thing. So here's the easiest thing to do.
Okay.
So this is an F, and here's what we're going to do. F major 7, so index finger on the 1st fret of the B, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D, and then an open high E string, right? And you can, right there when you hear that, you hear the thunder only happens in the right? Right, and the next chord is a G, and a lot of times, for whatever reason, the more I've played stuff like this, I start to do this G where you take your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the low E and you mute the A. Do you find yourself doing that?
I have been doing that lately.
Yeah. And so you mute the A, and then so your D string is open, the G string is open, and then the B and the high E are covered up. B is the ring finger 3rd fret, high E is pinky finger 3rd fret. And sometimes I might go back to this chord here. That's just F add 9, and this is going to be a little Jimmy kind of grip here, Jimi Hendrix, where you get your thumb, the knuckle of your thumb, the part that actually flags down the ride when you're going down to Rosedale, take my rider by my side, right? That part of your thumb, right?
That's comes.
I feel like I'm just talking 90 miles an hour. Are you okay?
I'm great.
Okay, you want some coffee?
That'll help.
Okay,
sure.
It's right there. All right.
Oh, thanks.
So your thumb is going to be the knuckle. It's going to be on the 1st fret of the low E, and then you're going to have your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D, middle finger 2nd fret of the G, index on the 1st fret of the B, pinky on the 3rd fret of the high E. That is totally the little wing chord. Right?
It is.
And then back to that G, right? So that's Dreams. It's basically those. There's a little section in the middle where an A minor comes up, but for the most part, that's the bacon and the beans of that song, right?
It's the most important part. Yep.
So if you were playing that, just what I showed you, where would kind of be your? I mean, just be honest with me. If you're like, I don't know, I'm just kind of niggling around and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it would be noodling around. I think I can see just because of how those chords go together that something in the C major would fill all those blanks.
100%.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
F is the fourth of C, G is the fifth, and so if I was giving quick direction on this, I would say play a C. But if we had to assign a modal property, when you see G Mixolydian, really what you're saying is G is the fifth of what? G Mixolydian. Mixolydian means fifth of. It doesn't actually mean that, but like that's how my brain interprets it. Does that make sense?
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
me. Yes,
so
absolutely.
the fifth of what? What's the fifth of C? And so if I play a C major scale, in fact, if someone said, "Hey, give me G Mixolydian before you can get on this roller coaster," bacon and beans. If somebody said that to me, first of all, I go, "What's going on?" Second of all, I would play a C major scale starting with G and ending with G.
And why is there bacon and beans on this roller coaster?
Well, it's Silver Dollar City.
Okay.
There you go.
Ozarks, there we
with
go.
with that being said, you can also just play C major. So we're going to do that for you in real time. So I'm going to play those chords. Play along if you like.
Okay.
Also, man, if you've got a way to make a loop at home, or if you got your guitar playing buddy, if you don't have your guitar playing buddy, find your music store you like. Mike and I have our favorite. And go there and meet people and comment below if you need more direction than that. I can get you a guitar playing buddy. All right, here we go.
Or buy a loop pedal.
Or buy a loop pedal. Yeah. So Mike's gonna noodle around in C major.
Oh, there it is.
You took to that pretty quick.
That was a good explanation, but also that just fit right in. It seemed like that just showed right up what belongs. Maybe I started in a different place from what I normally would based on those chords, but it's just a different launch pad, I guess, is how I'm looking at that. Somewhere to kind of start from.
Yeah, and also I feel like Lindsey Buckingham is doing that for the most part.
I think he was.
Yeah,
It sounded like he was.
You know, what's interesting is, here's the big takeaway, here's the punchline, here's why to continue to watch this episode. Your ear is constantly, and naturally we can't help it, it's part of the human condition, but you're constantly making judgments.
Yeah.
You're constantly going, and there's a great book called Effortless Mastery. If you've been watching Chords and Coffee a while, you've heard me talk about this book written by this guy named Kenny Werner. In fact, if I can remember to do it, and if I don't remember to do it, I'm going to hold you to it. Remind me in the comments. There's a YouTube link where Kenny Werner was teaching a master class somewhere up in New York. And there's a great little moment in that master class where he talks about we have too many attachments every time we perform. You know, ego gets involved. Mm-hmm. What happens is as you're playing, it's the natural tendency, especially if you're just getting started and you're an adult, where your ear's like, that wasn't good. That tone's not right. That wasn't fast enough. You know, gosh, you've been doing this for so long. Why is it taking you so long to get this? You know, your ear starts doing that a lot, you know, and it happens just in a microsecond. Well, one of the things you have to do is just push past that.
Yeah. Well, so much of that too, when you're playing, there is a lot of intention behind what you're doing, but you can get lost in that intention and not be listening or being open to what's actually going on around you. And it's big. I still do it all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
And a lot of times, so I was playing just the other night, and I found myself realizing, hey, this is going really well. And I realized I really wasn't doing a whole lot, I mean, as far as in terms of technical aptitude, but I was doing a whole lot in terms of locking in, protecting the groove, and also just finding my lane and just elevating.
You were part of the song.
Yeah, exactly.
Part of the group.
Yeah.
That's the whole
So
point.
don't listen to your ear, as funny as that sounds.
Get over yourself.
Yeah, you have to kind of just keep pushing past
Yeah.
it. I promise you, there'll be a breakthrough moment. Speaking of which, let's see if we can find one. So I'm gonna throw a loop at you here.
Okay.
Throw a loop at you? I'm gonna
Throw you for it?
throw you for a loop.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right,
Okay.
let's get some coffee. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna change keys. All right, so this is
Okay.
gonna be
Okay.
kind of a Grateful Dead kind of thing.
Yeah, I
Fire
hear it. I
down.
hear it.
So where's this gonna be at? So this is B and A. So let's just do the good old bar chord. So index finger straight across the 7th fret from low E to high E. And then I'm gonna build an E chord underneath this human capo here. This cumin capo. I'm always thinking about food. Index finger across the 7th fret, and then ring finger is gonna be on the 9th fret of the A, pinky is gonna be on the 9th fret of the D, middle finger is gonna be on the 8th fret of the G. And then take that whole sheboing and just slide it down to the 5th fret, right? Same. And you might notice that I'm picking up that E a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Now, real quick, show them what would happen if you were to approach this like a typical B blues.
Okay.
Like some B minor pentatonic. That doesn't sound bad, right?
No, it doesn't sound bad at all, but it's
Yeah.
a different attitude.
It's a different attitude.
with a little happier, a little more lackadaisical, a little more dreamy.
Yeah.
A little more Jerry, maybe.
A little more Jerry Garcia.
more Jerry in there, yeah.
So kind of an instant Jerry kind of thing. And please, if you are an avid disciple of the music of Jerry Garcia and that last comment offended you, I meant no harm by it. It's just, generally speaking, there was a lot of Mixolydian jams amongst the Grateful Dead catalog of songs. That being said, that if somebody's asking me to do a Jerry impression, I kick on my envelope filter and then I start doing that kind of thing. So you were just doing E major.
I was doing E major.
And where
while
were you at when you were thinking of that, like generally speaking?
Well, I was up around, the 9th fret and kind of just dancing all around. So I see it, it's built off a lot of chord shapes. And so I'm playing in the A chord shape up in the E domain right there. And that was just all major scale right there.
So kind of a healthy dose of,
Yeah.
when you said A chord shape, you're thinking of like the E that's built on an index finger off the A string all the way to the high E.
Correct,
And then
yes.
the ring finger on the 9th fret here on the D, the G, and the B. And then C sharp minor pentatonic. Sort of right underneath there, right?
Yeah, kind of to the bottom 5 strings kind of
Yeah.
keeping everything together in my brain. That's how it works up here.
Before we leave it, let's go back to that, and then I want you to try this. So do that E major idea over the B chord and the A chord, and then what I want you to do is sort of call and response.
Okay.
So have the call be either the E major, and then the response is like the B minor.
The B minor?
blues.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's try it.
Let's see. Major. Minor.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
That was neat.
Right? And all that was is just, you're just shifting back and forth.
Just shifting.
Yeah, between C sharp minor and B minor.
Yes. Yeah. Essentially, or in my head, I was thinking of it as an E major and then a B minor.
Yeah.
But it's all in the same domain.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So if you think about John Mayer when he gets to the end of Gravity, and there's that. By that time in the song, he's established G major so strong, right? But then he starts coming in with that G minor stuff, and it just feels like we've not just crossed the butte, as you like to say.
I do say that.
But we have literally like just shattered the glass ceiling, the ice dome over Antarctica. Hot take.
Opposite of gravity.
Right.
Yeah.
We've like broken through. What is this new space? This stratosphere.
Stratocaster. Yeah.
Anyway, it was a long shot.
That was
Anyway,
good.
but
That's good.
it's a powerful feeling, and all it is just literally thinking from this major idea to this minor idea, or in the case of We Found on the Mountain, Mixolydian, into just good old fashioned B blues.
B blues pentatonic.
Let's do no.
Okay.
All right. So how about this? Something like Superstition, right? If we're playing Superstition and the solo comes to you, it's like, Mike, take a solo, and I'm not gonna play the riff. I'm just gonna play an E minor. And there's a lot of mileage in E minor pentatonic.
There is.
And honestly, that's probably a great place to start. However, let's say the song is going on a little bit longer and you might need just a little different flavor, just a little something different. What would you do?
Well, if we're based off of what we've been talking about, I'd be thinking that the E is the fifth of... What is the E the fifth of?
Well, I'm going to throw a little wrench in
Okay.
that because now we're going to do a different mode.
A.
We're going to do Dorian. Now, we just did a minor 5, Chords and Coffee, here recently. And in fact, we did a whole episode of minor chords. And Dorian, if I say E Dorian, E is the second of what?
It's the second of D.
That's right.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
So if I play D major ideas over this E chord, it's going to yield a fresh sound. And that minor 6, what you're going to get is ultimately this sound. Right? And so this is like an E minor chord with the C sharp and the... Yeah, but not a major.
So hitting the minor?
All right, there you go. There you go. Yeah. So we got to trick ourselves into it, though.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a D groove.
D groove.
And we're going to get D tonal center in our brain. And then I'm going to shift it. All right. Sitting in a hammock, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe laying in a hammock, because sitting in a hammock means you're getting up.
Eventually.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's just nice and easy, breezy, beautiful cover mic.
Let's get those rope marks on you after laying in there for too long.
Exactly. Rope marks. That's the name of that tune. All right. So then, same idea, right? You still got that in your. Okay.
Yeah.
Same notes. Well, how would you describe that? The way that sounded.
Well, safe. Is how I'd maybe describe it. Is that a weird way to put it? I don't know. I personally maybe had a hard time finding the springboard, so as I like to say, for that that next mode there. What would you recommend?
So that's a really great point. Mm-hmm. And to me, like that Dorian thing has an unresolved kind of sound. It's a little mysterious. It has a lot more questions than it has answers, right? And what I like about it is, and to your point, you need to have a target note. That's really one of the things that's like a key to all this, is having like a note, like, okay, I'm gonna... So what would happen if like you just came out of the gate and you're like, I am targeting that 6th, right? That C sharp on the 9th fret of the high E. That's like, you know, and I'm just gonna own it. Here, actually, just play an E minor. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna hit that C sharp like it's my favorite note in the world. So, in the beginning, there was a couple moments there where I was like, oh, that wasn't a good choice, but I just went with it. And then, as we were playing, I really realized that that C sharp, even though that was a very like, hey, kind of moment, that F sharp was really where the money bags was. That little thing there. So if you target that F sharp on there, that to me, that sounded really good. So try that. And so what do I mean by target note? Well, in my mind, I'm going, okay, I want to start with that and then see where it goes. Now, right now, I just feel like somebody's sitting out there going, man, I can't even do any of that, right? Well, here's the advantage if you're starting early enough to where every bit of this is new. The advantage is, and man, can you imagine what this would be like? You're basically, if you embrace this idea, it's almost like you're learning multiple languages at once.
It's a great way to put it, because you're applying literally the same words to different languages. I mean, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Or if that's another way to think about it is, it's like you're learning how to write poetry as well as program a computer. You're like learning DOS and poetry at the same time, right?
Yeah, you're learning how to write, yes.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Let's do one more. Okay.
What do we got?
So that was Dorian. Now let's do Lydian. E major this time. And so if I say E Lydian, what I'm really saying is that E is the fourth of what?
E is B.
That's right.
The fourth of B.
So, if you play a B major scale, right? Mm-hmm. Or we can even stick to just a regular old pentatonic kind of thinking. If you play G sharp minor pentatonic, okay? I'm gonna show you two things with this, because this Lydian sound, this is my absolute favorite. So if I play a G sharp pentatonic, start on the G sharp and walk our way down here, and we're gonna start on the 7th fret and then go to the 4th fret, okay? So, I'm a little out of tune here. So just walk that pentatonic down, and let's call these notes out. Okay. So obviously that B, that's the 5th. Mm-hmm. Next one, that's a 3rd, and I'm relating all this to E. Next one, F sharp, that's a 2nd or a 9th. Next one, that's the major flat. 7, right? I need a tuner. Where'd our tuner go here? Coffee break. Tuner break. Yeah, here. Oh, here it is. It's right here.
It's on the floor.
And then keep going on the G sharp. And then what's the next one there?
So we got the G sharp. We got the E flat. Next one will be the C sharp.
Yeah, so that's a 6th
Back
in B.
to the B.
All right. Now do the same thing, but this time do E flat pentatonic or D sharp.
E flat pentatonic.
Yeah, E flat. Now, so you got an F sharp, right?
Mm-hmm. F sharp.
And then
E flat.
E flat. So F sharp is the 2nd, E flat's the major 7.
There's your C sharp again.
Okay, and then C sharp is the 6th, and then this note,
the flat, the B flat.
the B flat. So that against an E. Okay, so that B flat, it's your sharp 4, right? First time I heard this, right, like took note of it, was the Crocodile Dundee movie. At the very beginning of the movie, there's a song that's like, oh yeah. And then, let's see. The first time I heard it, I was a kid, and I was like, what is this mysterious crocodile music?
That's,
right? And so that's how I talked when I was a kid. Anyway,
I bet.
Yeah, well, you know.
That's not a chord, that's a chord.
Exactly.
Right.
So I just remembered that in the back of my mind, and then later I remember asking my guitar teacher, and then he's like, oh yeah. Of course, he pointed out, I think 4 Sticks, Led Zeppelin has kind of a big Lydian moment like that. So here's the quick cheat code to trick yourself into playing a Lydian mode thing. Super simple, and we've talked about this before, but here it comes one more time. Just take wherever you're at, in this case E, and I'm just gonna go back a half step. Okay?
Okay.
Now somebody right now is going, well, wait a minute, wouldn't G sharp minor pentatonic be the B major? Yes, and we just did that, but it's missing that Lydian note unless you add it via like this, that kind of thing. But if you just do a standard pentatonic, it's going to be right there, right? So this works for everything. If I'm in A and I want to do this A Lydian sound, I just do G sharp, right? It's right there. That note right there ends up being a Lydian note. So I'm just going to kind of sizzle around here in this E, and you play me some D sharp minor pentatonic. Yeah. In fact, here's 2 chords you can use. How like sort of like mysterious,
Yeah.
makes you want to put on a cape, right?
Yeah, it really does. A cape,
Cape's a good thing to have handy.
Capes.
Yeah, so those 2 chords, think of it this way. Just take an E chord and then move it up a whole step here. So it's almost like F sharp over E. And I've got my middle finger is going to be on the G string of the 3rd fret. And then my ring finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the D, not playing the A, but everything else is open. Right? There's other ways to approach Lydian, but that's kind of a quick, easy way to do it. So what do you think about that? And all these modes?
It is. The modes are fantastic. I mean, I guess a lot of it, how you plug them in depends on the music that you're grooving on. But these really opened my eyes to a lot of different, like I said at the beginning of the program, I hadn't had a whole lot of learning when it comes to guitar lessons, and so I can play a lot of things, but I don't always know exactly what it is that I'm doing. So this is really cool for me. I get to learn from the great Nate White, have some coffee.
Well,
so thanks for the lesson, my friend.
We're doing life the best we can.
We are.
With the guitar in our hand.
Absolutely.
Every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time, this is where we're at. I hope you have questions. I hope you put your questions in the comments. Your question is probably burning on 1,000 hearts. Don't be afraid of that. Your questions are the beans of this delicious Chords and Coffee brew. Don't hide your beans under a bushel basket, friends. Give us your questions. We'll see you next Saturday morning, 9 a.m. for another Chords and Coffee.
All right.
But good.